Let's see if this works better. Should be public now. I did not make it public before. Okay, now it's working. Let me tell the people on the Instagram. Let me tell them what's up. And I returned back to my roots in YouTube. And I'm excited to post my first video where everyone, if you haven't seen my video that I did, where I'm announcing like changes and how I'm going to be doing things. Why does it look so shadowy? Hey, Victoria, I thought about you today. People like pop in. What's going on? I'm going to announce. You're going to watch me. You're going to watch me announce. This is interesting. Hey, I'm over on YouTube doing some readings. Hi, Victoria. Hi, Zachary. You're now on my Instagram. Come see me on YouTube. Yeah. Hey, I'm over on YouTube doing some readings. You did some readings last night at the New Star. How was it? Hey, I'm over. Sorry if you have to hear if you have to hear this. How was it? It was fun. Awesomeness. That's what I like to hear. Very good. Very good. You guys are doing very well. How many did you do? Like, was it busy? Or was it just kind of chill? Somewhat busy? Okay. I've been having like a really good time. Oops, hold on. I've been having a really good time. You know, I know Zachary did my mentorship. I changed it. If you guys saw, I made it a little more affordable and a little more options to like if you just want to do one. But I just want to share because she's going to send me this review. Some people are doing the mentorship that I'm offering. And they're doing it like for things in their life. And I did this for somebody. This is something I've always wanted to do. Like I've always wanted to be able to take my readings. I'm going to go to close the blinds. Hold on. Hold on. I'll be right back. If I forget what I was saying, remind me. So hold on. 8 readings. That's a lot. That is good. Is that 8 readings each or 8 readings in total? Yeah, so my mentorship, I've been excited about because it reminded me because I saw you, Zachary. There's some people who have taken it together. Okay, still, that's really good. 4 each. That's a good night. That's a really good night. Very good. And some people are doing my mentorship with like kind of trying to do things to kind of do with their life. And I did one with someone, she's going to send me in her like review, I guess, or her experience. And it was just really cool to start with someone and be able to help them make changes in their life, like in a short time. So I changed the mentorship to be shorter. And you know me, I'm not like gonna, say it's 30 minutes and I'll get out. I'll give a little extra time. But this way it's shorter. It's more affordable. And if, to your point, Zachary, you said to me, is there any way you could do something in case you want to follow up one day? So now I have the option of that. So they're cheaper than my readings. And what I love about it is that some people, it's just really to kind of mentor people if they're going to go professional, like these two are doing, like Zachary, Gnome Runner, and Tori Renee, Victoria, or if people want to work on their spiritual stuff or on their life. And that's what I was surprised about, because she was like, I want to do some things to change some things in my life. So I did that with her. We really got serious about specific things to change, and she did it. And in the sessions that we did, she made major changes. So I'm so excited about that. And I'm excited that you guys are reading. You're being the power couple. I'm here to do some readings today, intuitive readings and medium readings. I'm also excited. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, sorry, I have to come back again. Don't be mad. I'll be right back. It's like hot all of a sudden. Sorry, everyone. I thought I was like all set up, all ready to go. Okay, I swear this is my last. This is. I don't want to see. I just have like pajama pants on. Well, they're kind of nicer than pajama pants, I guess. Okay, so I'm excited that I launched my YouTube channel, where I'm going to do every week. I'm going to pull 3 people. If you go to my video that I posted recently, I'm changing the whole format. So people are going to say, read me. I'm going to pull 3 people at random. I'm going to put it through an app that pulls your name at random. And I'm just going to do a speed read. That's what I do on my Patreon. On my Patreon, I do speed readings every month. If you're on my Patreon, I did a special thing. Go check it out, where I did medium readings for everyone this month in honor of Mother's Day. I also gave 50% off of my gift certificates, only for Patreon peeps. Sorry, this is special for them. And you can go get your code over in the Patreon. You can give it to someone. I'm trying to kind of acknowledge, Mother's Day. It brings up all these things and these feelings that people have. And also you can use it for yourself. Like you can buy a gift. I've seen some people do that. They buy the gift certificate and then they book a reading for themselves. I don't care. I'm not like, you're on my Patreon. This is the perks, so to speak, of being on my Patreon. So you can do what you want. But what I like is that I like the interactiveness that I'm going to be doing more on my YouTube, because I feel like that's what we're moving into. Don't you think? People don't want to just sit and only watch. They want to be interactive, interactive with, I think, the people they're watching. And that's what I'm trying to do more of. And that's the direction I'm more going in. And so, because like my podcast is interactive, you guys send in your stories, hint, hint. I read them, I put sound effects onto it, and then I have you on. So I see people are in here. Is everyone going to say a shout out hello? But today I am doing intuitive and medium readings. If you don't know me and you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about, lady, intuitive readings are, hi, Selena, are going to be about you, the different questions that you might have about you and the things that you're going through in your life. And I like specific questions. And medium readings, of course, are talking to the dead. Hi, Jane. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm excited because I'm going to start do this new YouTube, and it's all going to kind of streamline with my Patreon and my podcast and all of that. And then I am going to record classes now, and I'm going to drop them down on Vimeo. I think that's where I'm going to put them on, pretty sure. And you can just click on it and rent it. And, you have the whole month to watch it, meaning they're going to be shorter, and you can watch as you want. I feel like this is where we're at, because we're kind of like the energy right now is people are kind of right back into the swing of life, if you haven't noticed, and they're kind of doing life and stuff again. So I feel like people are kind of in that vibe, right? Hi, Timothy. Where Timothy, I went to go bake some cakes and I am out of flour. What? Not, I'm very upset about it. I was like, excuse me, I'm out of flour. I need to bake 2 cakes and I'm out of flour and oil. So I think I need flour, oil, and butter. I actually have, I don't need the butter. The butter is for when I make pancakes. Anyway, so I'm really excited about that. And what I've noticed is that people want to kind of be interactive. I do want to kind of at some point do kind of flourless cake. Now I'm not doing all that. I have this recipe. People want these cakes. I'm gonna make those cakes that I know how to make. Don't be throwing curveballs. Um, but yeah, so I'm excited because I wanted with my podcast. I'm thinking I want to do something interactive too, like go to a place. Ooh, look at you, businesswoman Adela. Go make your power moves. I'm trying. I'm trying, Core Chick. I am trying. I wouldn't know if these are power moves, but I'm trying to shift with the times because that's what I believe in, meaning I can always tell obviously when things are shifting. That's what I do in my readings is I can see when people's field of works are going to, the field that you're in is going to start making a change. And I would say that when I first started reading online, it was unusual and it was different. Like people didn't see it. I started on an app called Periscope that was on Twitter. I really started on MySpace, but then I really got kind of a big following on this app because I went on and said, I'm going to read you on Periscope, right, Jane? And I was like, nobody's doing this. And it was a brand new app. And I still don't know where she was. There was this woman that came in for a reading in person, and she goes, oh, there's this app called Periscope. And I go, oh, I'm going to do it. I jumped on that night. I did it. And people couldn't believe that I was actually going to read them online. Now I've been here since. Oh, thanks, Jane. Now we have like TikTok, and there's 1,000 million readers. There's 1,000 million readers here on YouTube. So I was like, what's changing? What's kind of changing different? Oh, you know what? Even talking about Periscope, because I used to smoke back in those days when I did Periscope, I got like a taste for cigarettes and I like flash back into time. Anyway, I feel like times are changing. And now that it's flooded with so many readers, I want to kind of do something a little different and kind of, you know, shift a little bit. And also I kind of had to realize, oh, there's a lot of readers on here. That's fine. Like it was unusual when I was reading online. I still feel like I read a little different than most people because as a medium, if you tell me someone specific you want to talk to, I will talk to that person. That's what will be different than my YouTube channel where I'm just going to do I'm going to pull 3 names in an app and I'm just going to tell you what I see, a speed reading. And then you all will be happy to know if you've been following my podcast, The House Medium, you all will be happy to know that I've been writing my book. I'm heading into chapter 7. It's kind of flowing out of me. And maybe when I hang up here, I'm going to write again. I'm trying to get to chapter 10. Once I get to chapter 10, I'm going to be like, ooh, lucky number 7, right? My son did Periscope so I could watch my granddaughter play volleyball, and that led to finding you. Ah, how funny, right? That's awesome. Yeah, so yes, so I'm really want to focus on tying all the things. And lastly, You'd be happy to know, Korchik. I am working on doing some in-person stuff, doing like a um like a fair, like a psychic type fair or magic fair. I'm working on maybe doing one here in LA. I'm working on it and doing something else. So those of you in the LA area, working on being a place that will be um and also kind of getting back into in-person stuff. So I feel like we're all kind of going back into the world. So I'm trying to balance the interwebs with the real world type of thing. So this is what I've been working on. Matter of fact, I have to tell somebody who we're going to probably do a booth together. I left a message for her. So anyway, I'm here to do readings today and talk spirit stuff, paranormal stuff, alien stuff. What do you guys got? Here's the thing that I do sometimes because because sometimes I forget stuff, like things come to me because I'm balancing so many things. Um, as I remember stuff, I'll let somebody know. I'll say, this is what we got to do. And even if it's like a few hours from now, because I'll forget because I keep a lot here, even though I have a calendar with all my readings in it. I have a calendar with all my appointments, my mentorships and all the things I'm doing. I keep a lot and my recordings for my podcast. I keep a lot here. I'm excited for you guys to hear this week's podcast because if you saw, I was on a guest on. We're looking at doing a Renaissance fair. Oh, nice. They don't really have readers at the one in LA. They don't have readers at all at the one in LA. So maybe they'll have more there, I'm sure. But the Renaissance Fair in LA does not have readers. I'm looking to do I've see the thing is I've done like a million fairs. Like you have to realize I've been doing this like 22 years. So I have done a lot of them. But I think what happened is I stopped being in public during the pandemic and even after, and I just wanted to really make sure. And now I'm ready to emerge back into the world. Funny, me and my friends were planning to attend one next week. Yeah, so I'm thinking of doing it's a magic fair, and I want to do it with a friend of mine who does. You guys have seen me talk about her stuff. It's Chicky Moo, and she does all this fun kind of like magic, like she does like soaps and oils and all this cool stuff. So she'll have her booth, and I want to read. So I'm hoping we got to make sure that it's cool with the creator of the place. And I'm kind of excited about getting back into person. I'm also meeting with someone here in LA to go maybe read at their location as a pop-up thing. So I'm doing it, and I'm thinking if I go to another state like Portland or I mean like Oregon, then I might be doing it in that way. I remember when Chikimu did your bundles. Yes, exactly. So I was thinking, the better way to go into a new area like Portland, even though I have a lot of followers there, I'm thinking maybe I should just kind of look at some fairs to do, you know, instead. And that would be a much easier thing. And I have family in Oregon, which I want to go to Oregon. I want to go to New Orleans. Um, It's time to go to New Orleans. It really is. Like, it's time for me to step foot onto that land. But today I am here to also do some readings. If you like, I put the link up there and to talk paranormal stuff. New Orleans, woo woo. Yes, I think this is my goal. What if a spooky factor you do readings in a spirit circle near a forest? No. Sorry, George. No, it's not. You have to organize these things. And I don't want to do spooky, to be honest, because it's not spooky to me. Like my whole mission is to unspookify things, to kind of not make it like I'm trying not to I'm trying to lean more into, like my podcast. My family's from New Orleans. Oh, awesome. We will meet you. I know I will be able to see you. I will be able to see other people that are in that area. That's what I'm talking about. There's another person that I know, Sean D. Um, I would be able to see him. I'm looking into it. I know they have quite a bit fairs there, and there's a way to do it. Hello, Nicolette. Nicolette, it's almost time. I mean, some find it spooky, but being surrounded by nature might make it seem natural. Yeah, no. Now you have to realize like when you're doing something like I'm doing and I'm going to travel all the way. I got you I got you TB. When I'm going to go and travel all the way to another state, it has to be organized in an organized place where people feel safe. Uh, so no, I want to be at a fair that's going to be very organized where you have to realize I'm spending to go to these places and things like this. Um, so it has to be pretty business organized. It's not like I can just like pop up in some forest. That's something that I would. It's not really. Yeah, no, not for me. Not right now. I know I'm packing right now. Yes, exciting, exciting, Nicolette. And I have to remind you, we may have like Nicolette. We'll have to talk. We may have some grand ideas. It's going to be late in the day, and so I don't know if I'll be able to take you to like all the things because I'm starting to realize that it will be later in the day in traffic, but I think we'll be able to do it. At least Burbank, um, Hollywood. I'm not, you may have to go see Malibu on your own. We'll see. We'll see. Um, okay. So, TB, you're getting an intuitive reading. I haven't seen you in a while, Tanaya. We'll have to. I just want to be realistic because I was realizing like, oh, I'm getting these grand ideas. You're pretty far for me to go meet all the way in Pasadena, so we'll talk about it. Why don't we not talk about it on a live stream? All right, Tanaya, what question do you have? We're gonna work it out. It's gonna be fun either way. I have some fun ideas. In my last position, I had a bad situation. I had to report a coworker for harassment after 2 years. He came after me. It's been a year and I finally received the results of the complaint. Okay, what do you mean? Give you some feedback. What do you mean? You already have the results. So what do you want me to look at? In my last position, I remember that. And you had to report a coworker for harassment after 2 years. He came after me. What? After 2 years? What was going on? What do you mean? I think I'm confused because I feel like you already know what's going on, right? Because you have the complaint, or are you trying to figure out why he waited these 2 years and decided to come after you? Is that what you're asking? I just want clarification on the question. Is that what you're asking? Yes. Okay. Let me take a look. Hold on. This is what I hear straight off the bat, Tanaya. Money. That's what I hear. 100%. I feel like he thinks all of a sudden maybe he could like do a claim and not get money from you, but maybe get money from the state. Cause that's what I'm hearing. Like all of a sudden he like thought, oh, maybe this is like something I could do. That's what I'm hearing. I don't feel at all this is going to work. It's not going to go anywhere. It's a Hail Mary. but I feel like he started attacking me out of the blue. I know, but this is what I feel like. I don't think it's based on anything to do with you. You got to remember not to take things so personally in that way, which I know is hard, actually. But I'm hearing that this is opportune. He's an opportunist, filed a claim in retaliation. You filed a claim. I know, but you listen to what I'm saying. It doesn't. This is a thing I have to remind everybody about being a seer. Is it doesn't matter what you say to me, I'm still going to hear and see what I hear and see. So I'm saying to you, this is about opportunity. Like someone gave him this idea, like a girlfriend or somebody was like, oh, what if you just like sue that girl? I mean, not you, sue, like make a complaint and maybe you can get some money out of it. You received a consequence? What do you mean? Like you're in trouble now? At your new job? I feel like that's what I'm telling you, that's what I'm hearing. I'm sorry this has affected you, but not a heavy consequence, right? Just a consequence, but not a big one, right? Yes, not yeah, don't worry about it. I know I'm telling you, I get my read on you. You get very worked up, you get very upset. You don't like people to see you in the wrong, but you have to realize, and this is for everyone listening, people are kind of in very desperate times right now, and people are kind of trying to find any kind of, way to work the system. I 100% heard it right away. This is money. He's trying to work the system. This is all about working the system. This has nothing to do with you personally. Don't worry about it. You're fine. He blocked you in an office. You let it go. Let it go. Just let it go. I don't see this being I don't see this being a problem. Yeah. So anyway, this is what I can tell you real quick in this reading. Don't fill this whole thing with your whole personal stuff. You know what I mean? You don't want to air this all here. I'm telling you, he's just trying to get money. It's not going to work. Don't worry about it. You're taking it way, way too personally. I got you, Shauna. Okay. Just breathe and let it go. This is the thing that sometimes it's hard when you feel wronged. Am I right, everyone? It can feel really difficult when you feel like you're wrong. But I'm telling you that sometimes people are using you as kind of like I want to say like they're using you to get a means to an end, if that makes sense. So I feel like this person 100% is thought this would work. People do this all the time. They go, oh, I fell at this grocery store or whatever, and maybe I can like get something out of it. Um, but I don't want to get all into it too deep in here, TB. Maybe save that for a private reading because you don't want to put all this on here. Trust me. You got to be careful on these. This is a legal thing. Okay. Yeah. Telling you. So let's just leave it at that. You could tell she's like upset, right? She's upset. Okay. So I have Shauna. We can talk in between readings about anything else. I understand, but be careful. You guys got to remember that you're online. Sorry to some people are awful, right? You're online. Online's forever. So you don't want to say all of your stuff. You got to be careful about what you say. You know what I mean? Especially if you're in a legal situation. I do a lot of legal readings. Weirdly, I do a lot of court readings. I've read for judges, I've read for lawyers. Um, I don't really want to. You shouldn't be either. So let's just keep it in that vein and let it all go, and keep it for like a private reading. The deets on all that. But you guys remember when you're doing stuff online, you got to be careful. This is my advice. You got to be careful. You don't always want to put all the things. Some things that I see people put online, not you, Tanaya, obviously, but I see people put some really private stuff on TikTok. I'm like, okay, they really just want to put it all on out there. Shauna, you want to get a medium reading. I do. Your mom, please. Okay. Selena, did we talk to your mom before? Have we talked to your mom before? Is this the first time? We have a few times over the last 3 years. Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm not going to, can you remind me how she passed? The reason why I ask people to remind me how someone passed, because I don't want to bug them to tell me how they passed. And then I just kind of like, sometimes I read people over and over, meaning I have some people who want to talk to, who have really, really heavy losses in their life, whether it's a spouse or something like the respiratory issue, the brain injury. Okay, I do remember that. And what I do is I don't want to have the spirit have to tell me it over again. So I just dive into what they have to say to you now. So that's what we're going to do right now. Okay, Selena? We're just going to dive into what she has to say right now. And obviously it's fitting for Mother's Day, right? Coming up. All right, here we go. First thing I hear from her is that she's so excited to connect. She says that everything's going to be okay. She says that she's been trying to kind of reassure you because things have been a little bit difficult for you at this time, and that she's sorry that you've been going through what you've been going through, but she wants to let you know that things are going to pan out much better in your favor, meaning like things are going to go in a much better direction. She says that she knows at night you have felt kind of alone or dealing and struggling with things a lot for for yourself, and that she's aware of it, and that she's been aware of it enough to kind of reach out and let you feel her energy and her presence. She also says something about open the curtains. Don't know, let the sun shine in. Um, Feels like she's kind of concerned about the struggles, maybe internal struggles you're going through. She also says that she's enjoyed some of the songs that you've been playing and talking to her, because it's almost like you've been having a more intimate connection with her better recently than you've had in the past, meaning like you've been feeling her more and being open to her more. Um, she also says something about I don't know why, but I can and I know this sounds strange, but she's saying something about hugging you or there's a lot of activity at night. That's the best way I could describe it. Like there's a lot of her trying to create like activity at night. So I don't know if you've been having like strange things happen, like maybe lights flickering or a feeling of someone walking in, but it feels really good. It feels really positive. It doesn't feel negative. But she is saying that she's tried to make her presence known or make you have that comfort at night. So remember when I'm reading, if you can like talk back to me and convey, because it helps, it's one thing I can always read and talk to anyone. You don't have to be in the room. But this is how we create the connection and keep it going and keep that energy flowing is if you can confirm and say things to help me know if you're even still online. Because sometimes people drop offline. I've had weird dreams knowing something's around. Yeah. So I feel like, so yeah, just continue if you can talk back with me. She's definitely been trying, she said she's been trying to make magic happen because you've kind of been in a funky funk place and stuck for a while. And opening the curtain makes sense getting out in the sunlight. Yeah. She's saying that, there's been kind of like more of a funkier place that you've been in and that it's time to kind of lift you up more into the light. Like as soon as I kind of tune into what I'm feeling for you through her, there's like a lot of frustration, irritation. You know that feeling where you just kind of get really hard on yourself and you just critique yourself just nonstop. And she's saying that cycle has to stop. So she's kind of more talking today more about you and your mental health and making sure you're taking care of yourself. She also wants to say that she'll be there to help support you and be a part of what you're doing in July. Is there something happening in July? Because she's talking about July. I've been doing markets and craft things. Oh, okay. Is there something happening in July? But yes, is that maybe that's one of the things she's talking about? I don't have any particular in July that is standing out right now, but maybe. Oh, okay. It feels like this is a reoccurring thing, and the vision she gives me is like if you were to go to a cemetery and visit with someone. This feels very reoccurring. Anyway, she says that she's tried to break through. She's tried to kind of get your attention. Maybe it's been hard for you to feel her lately. But yeah, I know the chat's a little bit slow. I actually avoid cemeteries like the plague. Okay. Why do you avoid them like the plague? Which I understand. I used to feel that way too before I knew how to control the energies that I see. It's just like this feeling and vision she's giving me is like you tuning in and kind of sensing and knowing her, the connection with her. I just haven't been comfortable ever since her passing. Okay. I think that's what it is. Like, I feel like there's like a frustration from her. Like, she's been trying to get you to feel her and sense her. And it's been really hard to get you to do that. Like, she says, it feels like pulling teeth to get her to really feel me and sense me in her, my energy around her. So maybe try to open more up to that is what I would say. So thank you all for joining, because that's kind of seemed like what her main thing has been about. It's not like you have to go to the cemetery. I remember I used to have a really hard time going to the cemeteries. Because when I would go to cemeteries, I would feel like bombarded by all the energies. I didn't know how to keep not hearing from the dead. I didn't know how to keep it in control, but I'm much better at keeping it in control now. So now I allow myself to be open to this. But yeah, I understand. So yeah. So I'm doing intuitive and medium readings, but I'm also chatting with everyone about paranormal stuff. So I hope that makes sense. Sometimes you have to realize that when it comes to the dead, they when people pass and they're connecting with you or they're trying to connect with you, I got you, Timothy. They're definitely trying to it's frustrating. This is one thing I try to explain to people because I know people are told all the time that, like, maybe someone doesn't want to talk to you, they're mad at you, they're busy, they're lost, or whatever. But it's not true. It's like this. The main thing that I sense from people who have passed is like, listen, we're trying really hard to break through. So there's like a barrier here, you know that we create because we're afraid. We create that world to be scary. So we kind of create like this what the veil is us not wanting to see that world. They can see us fine, they can feel us fine. They're happy to do it, but and this isn't a problem from them, but we create it to be like scary, spooky, crazy. So we block it out. And that is actually the most frustrating thing for them, is that they're trying to get us to like see them and feel them and hear them, and we refuse. That's the main thing. We kind of don't want to do that. We're scared of it, so we push it off, if that makes sense. So that's something I will let you guys know. Remember that the more we make this a scary, terrible, horrible, crazy thing, and we treat that world that way, then we block off a chance of hearing them and feeling them. And then we wonder why we're not. And that's what I'd like to share with everyone today. Okay, Timothy, what can I help you with? You have a question. So the moral of the story is be friends with people who've passed. That's the whole point of the work that I'm doing. I would love some insight on my current job. I have future growing. If I have a future growing with this business. Okay. You just started. Are you starting to get worried? I just want to make sure. Are you starting to get worried already? I knew it, Tanaya. Don't try to ask don't try to ask your mom, Tanaya, about this topic. Are you going to try and ask your mom? Tanaya got a medium right. I know how she thinks. I know how she thinks. Remember, we have to be careful on the deets. Just saying. Oh, you feel like you're working yourself too much like a workhorse. Okay. I understand that. That makes total sense. Okay. Let's take a look. No, okay. Sassy Tanaya. Sassy Tanaya. She's like, no. Okay, let's go, Timothy. Let me take a look at the workplace. I'm sorry you're feeling that like I'm repeating a pattern. Okay. That's good. That's good to catch. All right, let me see at this place. This is what I see. You're like trying to do as much as you possibly can, kind of like you're trying to go as fast as you can. You're trying to fit in as much as you can. Like you're putting this onto yourself of like, go, 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 and try to. The words I hear is kill it. Like you're like, okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's get this. Let's get going. And you're doing this but that is not what they're feeling from you. Like, I mean, that is not what they're expecting of you. They don't expect that of you, but you feel like if you don't go above and beyond and prove yourself and go faster and do it in this certain kind of way, then they're not going to value you. I don't see that. They're enjoying that you're doing this. They think you're like this amazing employee and they love it, but that is not the expectation at all of you. So my feeling is that honestly, I know this may sound like kind of foreign to you. This is my read on it. If you pull back and you do just what's expected of you, you're actually going to get further because you're kind of becoming too much of like, oh, well, Timothy will do it. Timothy will do it. You know what I mean? Oh, Timothy can handle it, or Timothy will do it. Because then you just become like the staple person. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean by that? Like you're the person they're just like counting on. Instead, if you're like putting boundaries around yourself, and it's like you're showing that you have other things to do and you're busy and you have other projects or you have other places to be, then you kind of become more valuable. That's just the nature of the beast. So I feel like what you're doing is you're thinking, well, if I go above and beyond and show them how amazing I am and how hard I work, they'll see my value and they'll, want to do more. It's also just me and the head chef who's never there. I know. And that's why I'm trying to say, like, you either have to get them to respect you and be like, I can't just like take in all these things and be treated a certain way, because then they'll go, well, what if we pay you more, or what if we give you a day off or something? And this may just not be the place to like hang your hat. My feeling is that this is a nice place and you're getting a lot of experience, but I do feel like it could turn into something more positive if you were to set better boundaries, because then they might go, if you say, no, I can't do this, then they're like, okay, what if we pay you this? I feel like they're way leaning on you too much and they're used to it because you're making it very easy for them. And you're not showing like you're annoyed or irritated, you know what I mean, or something like that. Does that make sense? And in the meantime, maybe start looking for something else as well. Because sometimes, and this is for everyone to hear, I would say it's a very mundane job. I was going to say, in the meantime, this is for everyone to hear. Sometimes you have things in your path and your future is starting to grow and go into a certain place. But sometimes there's things that are just there to kind of get you towards a certain place. It's not like where you're supposed to stay. Like sometimes we have things in our life that are like moving us down the path. You know what I mean? And it's like these, that's how I see the future. The future is kind of like a domino effect. One thing kind of falls into the other and the past starts unfolding. It doesn't always mean like this is it, this is what I'm going to do, this is where I'm going to work forever, or this is where I'm going to work for the next 2 years. I feel like you just needed this to kind of push you into the next thing. When we're stuck in life and we have problems in life, I mean, we stuck in life and we're trying to get somewhere. It's not always like, okay, how do I put my nose to the grind? Sometimes you're doing something that leads to the next thing, that leads to the next thing, because that's actually how the future unfolds. You know what I mean? So I'm doing readings on here. Wanted to remind everybody that I have a podcast called The House Medium. Hope you heard this latest episode. I do have a special guest coming on. I was on her podcast, Hollywood, HOLLYWOULD, one step at a time, one domino at a time. I don't know if you guys heard me on her podcast. Um, she's a public person. She does writing and stuff. Her dad was very public. He did this. He did the. Actually, I think her brother is on my YouTube. So her, I mean, like, follows me on here, and I think in my Patreon. But her father wrote the theme song for Friends, so she did a podcast kind of about Hollywood. I mean, he sings and wrote it, so she did a podcast about Hollywood, and she did, it's a play on words, WOULD. I was on a guest on her podcast. You can check out. She's going to be on this week because she wrote in a paranormal story, and we're going to talk a little bit about her experiences in LA, but also this. I'm actually going to read. This is a very uplifting episode. I think you guys are going to like it. It's very magical, and I think it turned out really good. And also go check out my Patreon. If you haven't checked out my Patreon, I posted stuff for everyone. I did speed readings, medium readings for all my Patreon peeps. And if you just joined my Patreon, you missed it, you will be part of the speed readings next month. And I giving 50% off of my gift certificates in honor of Mother's Day. And the medium readings I did, speed readings, I focused on women. It was really trippy because I pretty much called in all the women for each person, and it was just different women for each person. It's like I had to like focus on just like there were others trying to step in. So you can check that out too. And I'm relaunching my YouTube channel. So go check out the video I did. It's going to be a whole new format on here, which I'm excited about. Okay, TB. So thank you. Everybody still here? Let's do a roll call. Roll call. Roll call. Say hello. Who's here? Where's the roll call? Who's here? Do an emoji. Do hello. Do a something. Anybody? Am I just talking? Roll call from Selena. Roll call from Zachary. Roll call from TB. Roll call from Jane. Roll call from Cortez. Roll call from Tori. Roll call from Timothy. Okay, thank you. It just makes me realize like I'm not just talking into the void. Roll call from Timothy again. Because honestly, like this is why I'm doing classes that are going to be now for download. I'm going to record them tomorrow actually and load them up, and you guys will be able to watch, kind of rent it basically and watch when you want. Roll call from Kim, because my classes turned into me just teaching to black squares. I was like, people clearly do not want to be interacting anymore. Meaning like people want interaction, but they want it on their time. Does that make sense? They don't want to be in high from the void, roll call from TV. They don't want, like, I feel like people want to interact and they like it, but not in real, like, let me put a camera on my face. Maybe people got really burnt out during the pandemic and the millions of Zoom calls that people had to be on. So, and people are busy. So that's why I'm doing classes that you are going to now be able to access at your leisure. At your leisure. Okay, so Tanaya, what can I do for you? Who do you want to talk to? Your mom? Yes, that Zoom fatigue. Father. Oh, okay. Snappity snap. Snap. My bad. I assumed. And you know how you're not supposed to do that. Yes, the Zoom fatigue. Yes, I think that is a true thing. Okay, I know we've talked to your dad before, so I'm just going to let him tell me what he sees. We spoke to my mom last time. Yes, but we talked to your dad before. So we're just going to do just like we did with Selena. We're just going to jump in and see what he has to say, like in real time currently, right? Can you remind me how he passed? Did he pass of like older age? Meaning natural causes? Like over time? Okay, cancer. Okay. I couldn't remember. Okay, thanks for reminding me. Not natural causes then. Okay. All right, let's go for it. Let's see what your dad has to say. Well, he's just kind of diving in. The first thing I hear from him is saying that he was definitely very hard on you when you were growing up. He felt like he wasn't able to really be the person he should have been. Um, he wants to apologize for that right off the bat, but he wants to jump into current time. He's saying at this time, you tend to be much harder on yourself than you need to be. He says that his life, he kind of had a chip on his shoulder, and that's kind of what he went through in his life. And then when he died, he was just immediately freed of all that and was able to like kind of breathe fresh air and feel positive. And he goes, I know that sounds strange that I said I could breathe fresh air because he passed, but he's saying like he felt like there was a refreshment of energy. He never understood light and how people had light and positivity in them. It was very hard for him. So he says, I want to warn you not to ever allow the darkness or the heaviness of the world to affect you. He says that when you were younger, you were always tenacious. Tenacious Tanaya. Was he more absentee in your life? Oh, and I just got like this flash. He's talking about getting older and how he really, really did not like the idea of growing old. And remember, everyone, talk back to me when I'm reading you so I know if what I'm saying is making any sense. He's saying something like he really, really didn't like getting older. It actually, yes, he disappeared after I turned 8. Okay. Yeah. Because I got that feeling because he's kind of showing me the way you were as a little tiny girl, and I didn't get the feeling he really, and I think I kind of remember you telling me anyway, but I also didn't get the feeling he really knew you. You know what I mean? But anyway, he's saying that you were always very tenacious. You always kind of, I guess I want to say the word, had a spitfire about you or had fire about you. You always kind of had that in you. But he says for him, you'd be surprised. Life was just outspoken. Yeah. And he says for him, he wasn't as he wasn't as brave as you might have thought. The reason why he left is because he just couldn't handle it, and he's not making excuse. He's not making excuse at all. He's just telling you the truth. He's telling it like it is. He says he felt like he just didn't know what to do with all of your mother and the kids. And so, yes, he left. And he says people who he says he knows that you've had problems with your mom and other people, but he says, I want to say this. People who stick to it, even when it's hard, even when it's heavy, even when they're tired, he says they're the most admirable people if they're doing it from a good place. He says with your mom, she tried, and he's not, it's like he's trying to be very in the middle. That's the best way I could describe it. And then he's talking about something about a train ride away. I was just a train ride away. I don't know what that means. A train ride away. And he's saying something about, hold on, July, August, end of July going into August. I don't know if there's something about July and August. I was very tenacious, outspoken. Yeah. Yes, he lived very close. Oh, he lived close. Okay, so that's why he's saying, he's like, you see what I mean? I just didn't have the B, we're talking about this area, uh, to really live up to what I need to do. He says life can be very heavy, and this is for anyone who's living, yeah, and listening. Life can be very heavy and very difficult, and he says it can really pull you down He says it's the people who know how to rise up past that and still hold on to what's the right thing to do and hold on to their integrity that he admires. And you are one of those people. Okay? He wants you to know that. And this is what he's doing. He says, so lay off yourself. Lay off yourself. He says, go lay down, have a drink in your hand, take a break, stop criticizing. And I guess this is for everybody listening. People, the one thing I've learned from reading people on the other side is that they can realize that they made mistakes. They can realize, hold on, I'm going to clean this camera. They can realize that I admire my mom's tenacity as well. Yeah. They can realize they made mistakes. They can realize that there's things that they can have done better. But they also, kind of have more of a forgiving, I don't want to say forgiving, but kind of realize what people realize when they die is that we all are going through the same thing and that we don't realize it, that we're kind of believing that someone else has it figured out better than us. Someone is doing it better than us. Someone is more together. And that there are like the people who are up here and the people are here. And when people on the other side kind of realize that everybody's kind of in the same boat, that we've always been in the same boat. And I would say this is just my little thing to you, to everyone. We all went through a pandemic. We went through a very difficult time. We went through a time where we just saw our world turned upside down. And we really went through a very, very, very hard time. It's kind of amazing to me that we don't understand that. I didn't realize he viewed the situation that way. Well, that's what he's learned to view since he died. So you have to realize this is a perspective since he passed. We all went through this really hard time. And then we just kind of went back. We were kind of pushed to go back to life and nobody's talking about it. It's very strange. Like we're just supposed to pretend we didn't go through this insane time. And we're all just kind of pushed back to go back to life like nothing happened. So it's very weird. But I would say that when we were going through that difficult time, we all felt like we had almost like a connection with each other, if that makes sense. Like we were all going through the same thing at the same time. And now that life has kind of gone back, we all have that weird separate feeling again, where this person's doing this and this person's doing that and that person's doing that. And I feel like it's hard for people. Yep, those 3 years would never happen somehow. It's crazy. Right. So it's like I feel like when we were all going through the same thing, it was like, "Oh, you going through it? Yeah, I'm going through it. You're going through it. We're all trying to figure it out and try to." So when the internet was utilized, people were able to kind of connect in that kind of frequency, in that collective thinking of realizing we're all just trying to survive through it and get through it. Of course, there was a divide that everyone forgets about. There was a lots of divides of opinions because that was the next stage where everyone was fighting against each other. I think everyone forgets that part, which is kind of interesting. There was a lot of divide, a lot of fighting, a lot of horrific things. And then we kind of come out of it and everyone's like, well, let's just, I guess, pretend all that didn't happen. But the main thing is the world is not the same and it's not going to be the same. We are going to fast track. Healthcare is going to move into new territories. Education is going to start to move into new territories. You're going to see much, much more hybrid type of things going on. As you see entertainment's moving into new territories. So we're moving into this new world and everyone's kind of freaked out about it. But change just kind of is overwhelming. And that's the one thing people find when they pass is that they go, okay, I have an insight into things I didn't know before because there's a collective understanding. Hope that made sense to you all. Yeah. So thanks for joining here today. I hope that makes sense because that's the one thing I've learned from talking to the other realm. We don't combined our experiences here very well. We live in this idea of it, and it makes people feel alone and separate from each other, and it makes it hard. But here's the truth. We are all experiencing the same thing. Here's what I've learned reading professionally for 22 years. Nobody knows what they're doing. Everyone feels a little lost and a little sad, and a little happy, a little scared, a little hurt, a little excited, a little bit of all the things, all the same things. It's just coming through a different perspective from based on how you tick inside. So it's just coming through a different perspective based on your physical, spiritual self. So thank you everyone for joining me here today. Look for I'm going to be posting another YouTube video. Thank you for the words of wisdom. You welcome. I try. You're not alone. I swear you're not alone. You're not alone in this world, and you're not alone in the other realm. I swear. And I know it can feel this way. I'll be posting another YouTube video where I'm going to be pulling different names that I'll do 3 speed readings and talk a little bit about stuff like this. And if you're on my Patreon, go over there and check out the speed reading I did for you. If you're not, you should join because I do speed readings every month. And also remember, I gave you the 50% off of gift certificates where you can use for other people or yourself, because I've had some people just buy them and then use it for themselves. But it is a thank you to the Patreon peeps. And check out my latest podcast. Send in your emails. Send them in the house meeting at Gmail. And also, you joined yesterday. I saw you did. Thank you, Jane. It was great. Everyone have a wonderful evening. You too. And reviews, write the reviews if you can on Apple Podcasts. This is it. I've said all the things. Thank you all so much. And you know what I'm going to say. Follow yourself, follow no one, listen to your inner voice. Have a great rest of the Sunday, and I'll see you soon. Thank you guys for joining.